6 hours of driving, and I still couldn't wipe the smile off my face. The lake house had always been my sanctuary, but now it was different. I'd spent months renovating the East Wing bedroom, my bedroom, turning it from a musty storage space into something magical. New hardwood floors, smart lighting I installed myself, and a window seat overlooking the water. For once in my life, I'd created something that was purely mine. My name is Sophie, and I should have known better. I pulled into the gravel driveway, noticing Layla's red BMW already parked in my usual spot. Whatever. I wouldn't let my sister's presence ruin this moment. But when I walked through the front door, dragging my weekend bag, the sound of giggling from my room stopped me cold. "Oh, Sophie!" My mother's voice carried from the kitchen. "You're finally here. Layla and Collins are getting settled in the east bedroom. You don't mind taking the couch, right?" The blood drained from my face. That's my room. I renovated it." "Don't be silly, dear. They're young and in love. They need the space more than you do. Besides, you're used to making do." I stood there, watching Layla emerge from my room, wearing that familiar smirk. Behind her, Collins was already sprawled across my window seat, his muddy shoes on my custom cushions. "Thanks, sis," Layla chirped, twirling a strand of hair. "The room is gorgeous. You did such a good job fixing it up for us." I didn't say a word. I just turned around, walked out, and checked into the Marriott down the road. As I sat on the pristine hotel bed, I opened my phone and pulled up the smart home app I'd never told them about. Sometimes silence isn't surrender. It's the calm before the storm. The hotel room's silence was perfect for what I needed to do. My laptop screen glowed with multiple windows, security camera feeds from every room I'd wired in the lake house. I watched Layla and Collins unpacking their designer luggage in my space, tossing their things carelessly onto the antique dresser I'd restored. "Look what I found in this drawer," Collins said, pulling out my father's old journal. My heart stopped. "Ugh, probably more of Sophie's boring stuff," Layla replied, barely glancing up from her phone. "Just toss it somewhere." I opened another window on my laptop, fingers flying across the keyboard. The smart home system I'd installed was my secret weapon. My mother had dismissed it as another one of my silly projects when I was installing it. "Sophie and her little hobbies," she'd said, not even looking up from her magazine. A message popped up from Finn at work. "You okay? You never take sudden days off." "I'm fine," I typed back, just watching karma get programmed. My father's voice echoed in my memory from the last time I saw him. "Make the house yours, Sophie." "In your own way." I never understood what he meant until now. On screen, my mother was opening a bottle of wine in the kitchen, probably congratulating herself on managing her daughters so well. I pulled up the master controls for the house systems: temperature, lights, locks, speakers. Everything was connected. Everything was under my control. "Time to show them what my little hobbies can do," I whispered, setting up timed triggers across the system. I took a sip of room service coffee and watched Layla attempting to pair wine glasses through the security feed. With one click, I pressed engage. Let the show begin. The chaos started with the temperature. I watched through the cameras as Layla wrapped her arms around herself, breath visible in the suddenly frigid air. "Mom, the thermostat's broken!" she shouted, jabbing at the smart display. Each touch made the temperature drop another degree. Then the music began. A distorted lullaby, the same one my mother used to sing to Layla, but never to me, blasted through every speaker in the house. Collins jumped, spilling red wine on my hand-woven rug. "What the hell?" He ran to the front door as the locks engaged with a decisive click. "Karen, we're locked in!" My mother's face drained of color as she realized none of her override codes worked. "This is ridiculous. Call a locksmith." The lights started next, strobing, pulsing, turning their perfect evening into a nightmare of shadows and flashes. Through the security feed, I watched Collins lose his cool, slamming his shoulder against the door. The house responded with a piercing security alarm that made him cover his ears. "Make it stop!" Layla screamed at the smart speaker. I recorded that particular moment and uploaded it to my anonymous account. When karma gets digital. My phone buzzed with an unknown number. The text made my blood freeze. "Sophie Elliott, you don't know what you've started." I stared at the message, my finger hovering over the controls. But then I heard Layla through the feed, her voice dripping with familiar venom. "This has to be Sophie. That pathetic little tech geek thinks she can scare us." I smiled and turned the temperature down another 10 degrees. They wanted to steal my sanctuary. Fine. Let's see how they enjoy their romantic evening now. The letter arrived at my hotel room the next morning. Heavy cream paper, law firm letterhead. My hands shook as I read. Upon completion of renovations, as specified in the trust deed, full ownership of the Lake House property transfers to Sophie Elliott, as per Matthew Cunningham's final wishes. My father had left me the house. All this time my mother had known. While processing this bombshell, my laptop pinged with activity from the Lake House cameras. Collins was having a meltdown, throwing things in my bedroom. "They can't kick us out!" he shouted. "I won't go back to—" He caught himself, but not before I'd recorded it. A quick search with his full name revealed everything. Domestic violence charges in Arizona, expertly buried but not erased. My sister's perfect boyfriend had a history of putting women in hospitals. My phone rang. "Sophie?" It was Tegan, Layla's oldest friend. "I can't keep quiet anymore. Layla knew about Collins's record. She said it made him excitingly dangerous or some crap. I have texts to prove it." "Send them to me," I said, my voice steady despite the rage building inside. "Already did. I'm done covering for her, the way they treated you at the lake house." That was the last straw. I opened my email and drafted a formal letter, copying my father's lawyer. "As legal owner of the property, I hereby demand all unauthorized occupants vacate the premises within 24 hours or face trespassing charges." Before hitting send, I watched through the cameras as my mother bragged to her friend on the phone. "Of course we took Sophie's room. She should be grateful we let her visit at all." Send. Sometimes karma needs a little push. "Our daughter's sister has gone completely unhinged." My mother's Facebook post went up within hours. "After years of supporting her hobby renovations, she's trying to steal our family vacation home." Layla's Instagram story followed. Mental health is so important, y'all. Sometimes the people closest to us need help, but refuse to get it. Pray for my sister. I watched their desperate attempts to control the narrative while Finn helped me organize my evidence folder. "Ready to show them what receipts really look like?" he asked, uploading the timeline we'd created. First came the renovation videos, hundreds of hours of me working alone, dated and time-stamped. Then the emails from my father's lawyer about the trust deed. Finally, the security footage from the night they took my room, complete with audio of their smug comments. Tegan released her screenshots next. Layla bragging about Colin's violent past, calling it hot that he'd hurt other women. Within hours, her sponsorship deals started dropping like flies. "Your sister's losing followers by the 1,000, Finn reported, monitoring the social media fallout. "And your mom's friends are starting to ask some uncomfortable questions about that retirement fund she manages." My phone buzzed with a notification from the lake house security system. Layla was there, screaming at the cameras. "You think you're so smart? You think this makes you win?" "I'm coming to find you." "Should we call the police?" Finn asked, concerned. I shook my head, watching my sister's mascara-streaked face on the security feed. "No need. She knows exactly where I am. She's just putting on a show for her stories first." Right on cue, my hotel room door beeped. Someone was using a copied keycard. Layla burst into my hotel room like a hurricane in designer clothes. "You've ruined everything!" she screamed. "My sponsors, my followers, my reputation!" I didn't look up from my laptop. Funny how consequences work. "We're family. How could you do this to us?" She paced the room, mascara running down her cheeks. "Mom always said you were jealous, but this is insane!" Finally, I turned my screen toward her. Security footage played, her and Collins entering my room that first day, laughing as they tossed my things aside. "Let's talk about family, Layla." "That's different. We needed the space." "You're just being pathetic. A geek? A nobody." I clicked through more clips. "You've called me worse things when you thought I couldn't hear." Her face changed, that familiar manipulative smile appearing. "Soph, come on. We can fix this. Just take down the videos. Tell everyone you made a mistake." "Like Collins made a mistake with those women in Arizona?" The smile vanished. "You don't understand. He's changed." I stood up, finally meeting her eyes. "No, you don't understand. You can't claim what you never built. You can't break what you never fixed. And you can't manipulate someone who's finally seen through you. So that's it. You're throwing away your family over a room." I walked to the door and held it open. "No, I'm choosing myself over people who never chose me. Goodbye, Layla." After she left, I drove to the lake house alone. Standing in my renovated room, I pulled up the loose floorboard my father had shown me years ago. Inside lay an envelope of photos. Me working on the house, each one labeled in his handwriting. For her. The courthouse was quiet when my mother signed over the lake house deed. Her hand shook with rage as she scrawled her signature. "I hope you're happy," she spat. "You've destroyed this family." "No, Mom. You did that years ago." I tucked the papers into my bag. "By the way, the retirement board would like to speak with you about some irregularities in the accounts." Her face went pale. She'd forgotten I had access to those systems, too. That afternoon, Collins was arrested outside his gym. The viral video of him damaging my property had violated his probation terms. Turned out Arizona was very interested in his current whereabouts. "Your sister's online, too," Finn announced, walking into my office with coffee. "7th call today." "Still no," I said, watching my email flood with interview requests. The story had blown up beyond our local gossip pages. Did you see her latest post? The tearful apology video? Yeah, her agent probably wrote it. He sat down across from me. Speaking of videos, Tegan sent over the footage from your mom's retirement fund office. It's not good for Karen. I closed my laptop. Time to go home. The lake house looked different now, peaceful. I'd invited Finn and Tegan over for dinner, my first real gathering in my own space. We sat on the deck watching the sunset, drinking wine that nobody had paired for Instagram. They're outside the gate again, Tegan said, nodding toward the security feed on my phone. My mother and sister stood there, watching the house lights come on as evening fell. I turned off the camera feed. Let them watch. The show was over, and this ending wasn't for them anyway.